Random objects. They can be fun to set up. This is my way of setting them up in Unity. Hi guys, Anthony here. How are you guys going? If you are using Unity, you normally use a terrain editor and then you get one tree and you'd plant it and it would spin and turn and do all these things. But if you've got a scene like this that you're using and you've made the scene, Unity doesn't let you just randomize these objects as they enter the scene. So I'm going to make a little script here. This script's going to go and change the scale and rotation all in one thing. And I'm going to show you how I did it. The randomizer. We're going to get a transform and that's going to be the object we're going to do. So it's the object we randomize. Obvious. Delete that. Now we want some random bools here, and the random bools are going to be so we can say which way we want to rotate it and randomize it and which ways we don't want to rotate and randomize. Now the y-axis, if you're doing a lot of tree work, is the one you're going to want to do the most of. That's why we're setting that to true. Then I'll create a public setup object, and then we can use the start to test this till we get it going. I'm actually going to set up an editor script as well, and that will go through and make it clean everything up, but we'll have to get it all working to start with. So this is just to make sure what we're doing is right. So we'll create a random float size. It'll be random range, slightly bigger, slightly smaller. Now I'm going to add a multiplier to the size. So this way in the editor, we can use how much we want to randomize it. We've got a little bit of randomization and we can make it a lot more or a lot less. Now we're going to declare a couple of floats and they will be our X, Y, and Z axis. We're just going to randomize our Y axis at this stage just to see if things are working, and it's going to rotate it by anywhere up to 360 degrees. Just a nice starting point. Like when you're building a code, you just want to do little things and then build on those little things, make things better. If you're new about here, definitely think about subscribing. So then we're going to get the local scale, and this is where we're going to get our random size, and we can just throw that into our vector 3, which will choose the scale that it's going to be. And then our random angle, this will choose our different random angles. Now, like I said, this script is going to evolve. Now, I promise you at the end of the script, I'll show you all of the script in its entirety, but this is how we build a script and make it work. And that will actually fix up our script to start with. We'll get a little bit of a start thing of our editor script. Now we're going to have our size. This is to manipulate the size of our object. Like I said, we can scale it up a little bit bigger than we need it to, or a little bit smaller than we need it to, by just adding this size multiplier. I call it up size multi. You call it what you want. Anything in the little things, you can make it whatever you like, whatever name floats your boat. Now we've got a size multi. It's all good. We're going to add some buttons now. These buttons will now let us run the script when the game's not playing. So this will be able to do it in real time without actually playing the game to make it activate. Now I have to go back to the randomizer script and make it public so I can access it. And it's going to be a start random, I called it. And this will start resizing our trees every time we hit that button. But there's a problem. What about if we select all these trees and add our script on? It's going to lose the editor window that we just created. And that's because Unity can only associate one editor script at a time. So if we go back to the randomizer script, we're going to make this bigger and better. We're going to make it so it can randomize multiple objects. But before that, well, this is so it can remove the randomizer from the script automatically. And now we're going to add a second button. You don't want to have to remove all this all the time. So what about if you added destroy immediately? So a destroy immediately works outside of the play window. Destroy works when you're playing Unity. And then we can add a button to actually destroy this script. and it just gets rid of our script and it makes everything easy. But back to our other problem of not having multiple objects. Let's knock that out. Let's make a list of the other objects. It's going to be all the objects together in this list. Now we're going to create, and this is going to be just randomized, or we'll rotate, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to have our randomized script on its own. And then we'll create a script called random child. Now this is the easiest script you'll ever write. Just delete everything out of it. It's going to be basically nothing. It's just a little trick that we're using here. Nothing in there. That's it. That's the script. I promise. Now go back to our randomizer and we're going to get a random child. And this way we don't have to change anything on the objects. We just have to drop these onto the object and it will be able to find them. So it's going to go through and find any of the objects that have the random child script on there. And then it's going to add them to the list. We have to create a single random child object so it can hold that object to then add it to the list. So each time it goes through and finds this object, it will then add it to the list. Okay, and then we're going to have to add a get our random children button back in our random UI script. Again, get random children, then we're going to randomize them after that as well. But first off, we've got to get them. Then we'll have another script here that's going to randomize all children. I forgot to add into the get random child that we have to go for each and do a for loop to go through and collect them all. And then we're going to do another for loop to go through and make all those objects actually randomized. Again, just go through and work out what you call it. Randomize all children. We've got an issue in the start random that it's actually wanting to enter in object, so we can equal that to null and it fixes that issue. And now we can pick up a whole heap of objects. So we'll go and get a whole heap of trees. And all we do is dump on the random child script and we click the buttons. Here's the final script. Thanks for watching.